stress when I export beats that exhilarate the hard and exterminate the weak. Execution level next, no way to explain it. I'm XXX, bitch, triple X rated.
Hey guys, this is USA's Last Hope. I'm here to make another video. Now today we're going to be talking about this one plant. I think you guys know what I'm talking about here because it's actually a pretty popular plant right now that a lot of idiots are doing. It's called marijuana. Now marijuana here, it has a lot of nicknames, so you guys got to be on the lookout for them. One of them is weed. Okay, so if people are talking about weird weed, they're not talking about like eating like plant weeds that they have from their backyard. They're talking about like weed as in marijuana. It's just a really deceiving nickname. So I was like, okay, that's fine. It's like not my thing, but I mean you can do it. But anyway, another one is cannabis. This nickname cannabis, I don't know why they call it that, but the way I see it, it's like a can, but it's in a bis can. So it's like a can that's dark and gloomy and just shouldn't be taken in. You know, that's my opinion on the matter. It's like something that shouldn't be taken in. That's why it's called cannabis. Okay? The next one is jank weed. That's the special kind of weed, because jank weed, it's a lot more powerful than the normal weed, and gets you all janked up, so they're like, oh man, let's have this janked weed. It's like a huge weed in your backyard, kind of. Yeah. But that's my joke of the day. I'm going to start talking seriously now because this is actually a really serious issue. Okay, so my first argument for why you shouldn't smoke weed is because it's a gateway drug. Now, this weed, if you smoke it, you're probably going to do heroin later. Like, and that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but you're going to start doing worse drugs like ecstasy. Okay? Yeah, I mean, you can do it, but then and maybe you won't go to jail for that, but then you'll become a meth head, and then you'll just be like, you know? Yeah, I know too, it's pretty bad. Yeah. And next one is, lazy people smoke weed. Now, lazy people, like I told you about this lazy person, this example of a lazy person called Tyrone. All he did was he just stayed at home and he smoked and did drugs. Now this is the best example of Tyrones are the best example of weed smokers, because what happens is they just don't want to do anything because they're all happy in their hopeless existence, you know? Another thing I have to say is, if weed is good, why is it illegal? This is pretty simple right now. Why is it illegal if it actually tastes good? Because I feel like if it's actually good, then they would not ban it, because the government's just trying to help us, you know? I'm awestruck to see people actually thinking that the government is against us when it comes to weed, and they're just being a bunch of liberal hippies when they try to unban it. Okay? Okay. I don't have to murder to know that murder is wrong. Okay? So don't tell me that when just because I don't smoke weed, I don't know it's wrong. I know that it's wrong because I heard it's wrong from the government. Okay? Okay. And, I should tell you, Barack Obama, he smoked weed when he was a kid. And you know, Barack Obama, he's this communist Nazi Muslim who smokes. Okay? You might say that you can't be a Nazi and a communist, but nope. One second, I'm thinking of an example. Hitler was, okay? Okay, so we're done with that one. This is just a fake scenario. This is not really... Yeah, this is just a fake scenario, though. What if someone smoked weed, they were under the influence of the weed, and they killed them? You know? Just think about that. But the main reason I'm talking about it as of late is just because of a tragedy in my life. My friend Quentin, you can say either or, he was fine with it. He died from weed because he was in a car and he decided to go buy some weed. So he bought some weed and then he smoked it and he was all riled up. And then he drove the car on the highway and then he was I think what he did was he was driving on the wrong highway lane. So he was going like he was going like this way when other cars were going that way. And he died really quickly. So that just shows how disabling this drug can be. So I'm thinking that what we do is we ban it. But I'll get to that later. I have a few more points to make until I should say what action we should do for weed. Okay? This is just a really... I'm talking about this... Another reason why I got riled up about this is because my friend goes on Reddit, this evil site. What happened is these liberal atheist Democrat stoners, they were talking about weeds. There's this thing called like trees or something. And they just talked about weed and they had like comics about weed. And it was just disabling to see how many Americans were fine with this stuff. Because this stuff is bad, okay? I think I gave you enough. Like, think about Quentin right now. Do you think that he's having a good time in heaven right now? Because he knew that he could have saved more people, I bet. Okay? I mean, it's okay to be in heaven, but there's still a lot of Satanists in the world that are smoking weed. So we have to make sure to get rid of these Satanists before we enter heaven. And this is the most obvious one. What would Jesus do? Do you think he'd be like, "Hey man, I'm smoking now"? Do you think he'd be like that? Or do you think he'd be like, "Yo man, I don't need those weeds. I just need the Bible"? Okay? He just needs the Bible. He needs the Bible and he doesn't need any of that crap. Okay? No, those Reddit Satanists, I don't care about them. I can just go on 9gag or something, you know, because I just don't care about those idiots with weed. Okay? But this is what I think we should do. We should, I heard about this thing in Thailand where they give people 40 lashes. And these lashes are worse than death. So what we do is we find anyone that has weed and we give them 40 lashes. No, we give them 60 lashes. That's 1.5. 1.5. We give them 1.5 the hurt and they'll stop doing weed.